What's up everybody, this is CK Nene. Welcome to the 9th tutorial in HTML. In the previous tutorial, we learned how to add an inline CSS, thereby producing the background color for our header and our footer. So in this case, we're coming to learn how to add an embedded CSS. So we go to our text editor and we wipe the previous CSS we've already written. That's for the header and for the footer as well. So when I wipe all this and I save the document and run, you realize that the background color and the footer background color, the header background and the footer background colors are gone. Okay, so let's see how we can add an inline CSS. So let me just put this immediately below the navigation bar. So I open the style tag and I remember to close it immediately before I make any mistakes or forgetting or something. Alright, so inside these two tags, our CSS commands goes here. Okay, so let's begin with trying to add some kind of ID and classes. So in CSS, when you see the hashtag, it means an ID, and when you see the dot or full stop, it also means a class. So let's first work with the ID. So let's name an ID as header. So I'm naming my ID as header, and then I bring my curly braces, and everything goes inside the curly braces over here. So let me start something like height. So my height is going to be 50 pixels, and then I terminate the line. I go to the next line. Let me set the background color, and I'll set it to be maybe red so that you see the difference. Alright, so I'll come back to my header tag and then reference what is over here to the header. So I'll just say ID equals, and I'll bring the double quotes, then I'll put the name of the ID over here. So I'm going to call it header. Right, so I save this and I run. You realize that we have a height of 50 pixels and a background color of red. Alright, so let me do another one. So I come here and I call, or I invoke another ID and I call it footer. Alright, before we continue, it doesn't necessarily matter whether this one is header or something. This is just the name. I can make this thing over here as coffee, and then I change it over here to be coffee. When I save this and run, it doesn't make any change. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that when you have a header tag here, the ID should be equal to header and the footer should also be equal to footer. I just named them for the sake of this tutorial. So I continue with the footer tag. The footer ID. So let me set a height to be equal to probably 30 pixels. Then the background color, I'm feeling so lazy to type this evening, so let me just say alright, the background color, I'm gonna do it like pink. And I'm just not doing any very good work in color combination, but I just want you to see the differences very clearly. That's why I'm mixing all these colors over here. So I come to my footer and I set an ID to be equal to footer. I save this and I run. So it gives me a background color of pink over here. Okay, so you realize that when we came here, we tried to set a height of 50 pixels and background color of red, which affected the height and the background color over here, because we set an ID to be equal to coffee and the ID over here is also coffee. So we set a footer and we set ID equals footer, and we set some functions for the footer over here. So it also affected the footer side over here. So this is just a way of adding an an embedded CSS to your HTML document. So in the next tutorial, we're going to take a look at adding an external CSS, which is going to be the very core and the most important one that we'll be looking at in the subsequent tutorials, because that one you can just add one single external CSS file and you link it to hundreds, thousands, billions of pages, and it affects all of them equally. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the next tutorial, I'm gonna catch you once again. So have a nice time.